Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Can you guess what today is? Maybe. Oh gosh, I'm getting my shirt in it. Today is Get Ready With Me Day and we're going all things fall. So it's official, the calendar has struck the season. So now I can show you all of my favorite fall shades. So hopefully this video helps you pick out your new fave fall look. Be sure to keep watching if you want to see it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see when my next video is live. And as always, thanks for being here. Hi friends. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. It's Get Ready With Me Day. And I know I already did a going into fall Get Ready With Me, but this one is straight up fall. Like, it's official. The season is official. It has begun, and now I can bust out all the fall tones and not be sad about it, right? So let's go ahead and get started. I have already done my skincare, added my sunscreen. This one is my current fave. I will be using that all year round. If you like a glow to your skin, you will love it. What else? I did my lashes. So if you are a Lashify lover like me, I am wearing the Truffle Fluffies, 12s to, 14, 14, 12, 12, and then a C10 in my inner corner. So I'm gonna prime my eyes and we'll get started. I'm gonna apply my makeup a little bit differently today. I totally meant to film a video on this for Instagram and you might've seen it. I totally forgot to do it the way I was intending to film. So it was a hot mess. So rewind, we're gonna do it that way this time. Okay. So I want to show you a little bit different of a way. So if you are new to Maskcara Beauty, 3D foundation, I normally apply my highlights first for coverage, color correction, all the things. And then I like to contour. You can contour first, right? If you have seen before, using Bella, which is our cream bronzer, first under our highlights, it kind of gives that inner glow. And I am all for a year-round glow, okay? So when it comes to fall, I feel like people might be, losing their tans a little bit, but you kind of want to not completely feel washed out. It's not dead of winter yet, right? So this is a way you can kind of continue that inner glow. But I have been loving not using Bella and using something else. Okay, so for comparison's sake, this is Bella bronzer, okay? This is Muse Highlight. So Muse is one of our highlight shades for the darkest of skin tones. I think it's our absolute darkest shade, I want to say. And it is a tad darker, tad warmer, and it will give coverage, more coverage than Bella will. So Bella is very sheer, but you can apply Muse, and I'm gonna use the BBF brush. Okay, so this brush I would say is a go-to if you want the absolute lightest hand possible. Then pick up this brush because this end was originally designed for our powder illuminators, so it is very loose and will give a very light touch when it comes to creams. Okay, a little bit about bronzer. So I get the question a lot where people are like, do you really need a bronzer and a contour? And the answer is yes. They are different purposes. Okay, so we know our contour goes where we want to increase the look of shadows and dimension. It's gonna lift our face, frame out our face, lift our cheekbones, give our face more dimension and structure. Okay. Bronzer is completely different. So bronzer is simply for warmth in the face. So especially if you are a girl who maybe has a darker chest or has a lot of warmth here, but not in your face, you might really like this trick. Okay, so bronzer goes where the sun naturally hits. Forehead, okay, cheeks. Okay, I like to almost do like a C formation around my eye, just to kind of, and so sun will naturally hit all these places. And I like to just, this is pretty much the only time you'll ever see me swirling a brush, because otherwise it would move my color corrector around. Okay, nose, so high points of the face, sun will naturally hit forehead, nose, cheeks, chin, okay? Now I don't really need a whole lot on my nose because my nose is naturally darker and so is my chin, but I find this method will actually make me have to use less highlight for coverage and less color corrector. So if you're one of those girls that have to wear mango as a base to color correct, you might really like this method. So there you go. I've warmed up my face. I'll be honest, I could totally leave the house just like this and I'd be perfectly fine. But we're going into fall, so I'm gonna do not full coverage. I'm gonna still stick with medium coverage. I don't want my skin not to shine through, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the same brush. I'm gonna use Mango for this. So if you have Mango as a color corrector and your trouble is maybe pulling you too orange or applying too much Mango, you can try with this brush, especially if you're applying it over a large area like I am. So I'm gonna just do the same thing, and I'm just gonna use very little, just enough to match my darkest tones. Now I technically probably don't need to apply this where I just apply Muse, because that's a highlight and I already matched my darkest tones there. But for demonstration's sake, I usually apply it in my mask area. So my nose definitely needs it. So in this case, I was just showing Muse as a way to add that warmth, that inner warmth. If you're ever feeling washed out, try it. Okay, so just where I kind of have redness, I want to make sure that doesn't peek through, since I used very little Muse. And then my under eyes. So I'm gonna get a little bit closer. You guys know I usually use my fingers. I'm gonna show you how I like to use the end of this brush, okay? And that's because I can get in really close and I can press it on. The key with under eyes is applying the least amount possible so that you don't have layers and layers that are then gonna crease. Okay, and I like to feel and make sure, because I can tell with my fingers what is too much or what is too little. Okay, I'm gonna even out the eyelids as well. Okay, and since you can't see, this is how much I picked up. Boop, okay, that's enough for an entire area. So I'm just going to add a little bit more around my nose where I have some broken capillaries and any spots of hyperpigmentation. So you always want to buff in the smallest amount possible and then press on more where you need extra coverage. So this is by far my favorite shade for blemishes. And then I'm gonna put more on my chin. I feel like the redness is peeking out in a few choice places. Okay, so if you're brand new to the makeup, I recommend now using the Perfector. So before I started, I got this perfect. If you haven't seen how to get it perfect, I have another video on that, or head over to Instagram. I have it on my highlight bubbles called the Perfector, and it will tell you exactly how to get this guy to where it's going to remove the excess but not pull off your makeup, which is key. So the number one thing is applying too much. So you can bounce this all over the face now if needed, if you are prone to having a little bit of a heavy hand. Okay, I am now gonna go in with my favorite brush for highlight, which is the B squared, and I'm gonna go in with this end. Now you could, if you want the thinnest, like most natural look possible, just use this and apply very little. But if you used a lot of color corrector, this brush is it's very hard to press on, so you will be moving that color corrector around a little bit. I'm gonna use this one so that I can kind of build up to more medium coverage overall, okay? And I'm gonna go in with my main shade, literally the smallest amount. So I'm gonna tap in once, and I'm just gonna kind of keep pressing to distribute that in every area. Okay, so if you saw, I kind of avoided the very top part of my forehead. Don't really need a lot of extra coverage there, and I know I'm gonna contour. Now, when it comes to this area, I do have redness and hyperpigmentation there, which is why I layered my highlights to give me extra coverage. If you don't have any problem in that area, skip it. You can just put your highlight around that area, and then you can contour there, and our contour gives coverage as well. Okay, so now the fun part. Now we get to contour. So I am gonna go with indigo. Indigo always scares people so much because it looks so dark in the 10, but for some reason, I love it in fall and winter. It does add warmth though. It is a neutral shade, but it will add warmth to pretty much any skin tone. Okay, so all of our contours are pretty dry, so I pounce in the same way. You don't have to pounce in quite as much because this one's so much darker. You can apply less in order to see it depending on your skin tone. So starting about the upper mid part of ear, gonna go towards the corner of my mouth, stopping about the corner of my eye, and I'm just gonna lay that color down. And I feel like I got, well, maybe I didn't get too much on my brush. I don't have much left, so I think I'm good. If you ever feel like you get too much on your brush, kind of press it on, go to the other side, press that on, and then you can always build up, or you just will have to blend more away if you get too much, if that makes sense. My gosh, my hair is always in the way. Okay, I'm simply going to just kind of press along that line while lifting upwards to kind of get that ombre up. I like to keep mine pretty defined along the bottom. Just make sure I don't have any harsh lines right there. Pressing with this brush always blurs that. Get a nice fade. Okay, other side. Okay, jawline. Just gonna go back at the corner of my ear, underneath the jaw, and pull down. That is completely optional, but I love it because that way I don't have to worry so much about all this matching or having any kind of definitive line. I know I've blended out that, if that makes sense. Okay, so I find the weirdest thing is that sometimes people are like, all right, my cheekbones look great, but like it's not showing up on my forehead, or it's pulling warm on my forehead or something like that. And that is very common. I am telling you, I usually wear Astoria, which is one lighter and much cooler on my cheekbones, but it does not show up nearly as well on my forehead. So when I want like to really diminish the look of my forehead, I go with indigo. But I'm telling you, this one will pull much more warm on foreheads, or at least it does on mine. So I'm gonna go all the way down to that temple right there, push it up, pull it down so it blends in with the highlight, and kind of get that fade of my 5-finger forehead, right? Okay, so one thing I cannot use indigo for is my nose. So if you don't know, noses usually pull redder than any other part of your face. Even if you don't have redness, your nose could pull red. So I always recommend a cool shade on your nose. I can wear Astoria just fine. This is Astoria. This one is Shadow. If you can tell, it's a little bit more gray. Shadow is designed strictly for noses, so not meant for the face whatsoever. It's way too gray for the face, but it's perfect for that cool contour for your nose. I'm gonna go ahead and use Astoria to detail contour. I love the detail hack because of this straight line, okay? If you are new to nose contouring, the easiest way is to not have to worry about having a steady hand and using a brush that's gonna already kind of draw that straight line for you. We could go into so much detail just on noses, but it's for another video. Okay, so what I do is I'm just gonna get it right on the edge, okay? And then I'm just gonna kind of go right to the middle. I'm gonna act like there's a line right there, and I'm gonna go right up to that line and use that straight edge to just draw my line. It makes it so much easier. Look at that, okay? Because you want that part right as your nose starts kind of curving downward, you want that to be where the shadow is. So then you can kind of just use the detail in and dip in some more and really fine tune it. Go all the way up to your brow, okay? If you have a short nose, going all the way up to the brow will lengthen your nose. If you want to shorten your nose, then you want to go and darken the tip. Okay, now I'm gonna use a little bit under my lip to make that look poutier, and we're good. We are done with contour. Okay, so as a lip conditioner, as I'm talking, we've already bronzed and we have that inner glow, so we don't even have to add bronzer on top of it. If you do, you totally can rock that. Add a little bit more. I like to swirl Muse and Bella together. You can even add Glow Illuminator if you want a little bit of shimmer. But I'm gonna go ahead and accent brighten. I almost skipped it. I closed my top layer. Okay, so the accent brightener. My favorite brush for the accent brightener is by far the Buffy. And ever since I started using this brush just for this, I find I have less issues under my eyes because I know exactly how much product I'm putting there. I'm not pulling or tugging in any way, and I can just control it better. This brush really gets in really like close, and so I use this small end for my brightener. Okay, I use Aura. I'm literally going to tap one time, and I'm gonna start up at this inner corner, okay, and then I'm just gonna start pressing, and I'm gonna press this all the way down along that contour line, okay? That is what is going to actually help your nose contour work, okay? That is what's going to lighten the sides of your nose and make your nose appear slimmer. It's not just the contour, it is actually the highlight that does most of that work for you. Tap in again, and I'm gonna start up there again, and this time I'm going to go towards the corner of my eye. Now I'm not applying the color directly to the side. I am just going to distribute that small amount towards that. Okay, so I'm still gonna get a brightening effect there, but I'm not adding a whole lot of product. And then I'm gonna just keep pouncing and go down the corner of my nose and then on up that triangle, okay? So making that triangle pretty big, okay? All the way from side of my nose up to the corner of my eye. But I'm not adding a ton of product, okay? So far, it's not sitting in anything. You can tell I've been brightened, but it's not so much that's gonna age me. And then once I perfect it, because this again is already too heavy, your brightener shouldn't be so bright that it is like completely distracting from the rest of your face. It should still look natural. It should literally look like you have a candle in front of your face and it's just lighting up the center of your face. It's bringing attention directly to the eyes. And that is sheerly, like literally, that is the only purpose of an accent brightener, is to like look like you're naturally lit from the front. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now the center of the face This part's optional. Most people just go under the eyes, but I feel like this ties everything in together, especially if you have a lighter neck than your face, you do not want to skip this part. So center of the forehead, right? Okay. Center of the forehead, like upside down triangle down all the way in between the brows. Okay, and then you can go down your nose. Now I'm horrible at going down my nose with a brush. I tend to do so much better if I just use my finger and then I can keep it straight. I don't know why. It works so much better. Look at that, looks so much better. You've seen me use this. Now this pointed, you can totally just use the pointed end. If you can draw a straight line, you'll be golden. So I like to just use my finger a lot. So Cupid's bow, center of the chin, okay? And now I've got that light in front of my face. Now, here's where if you have a neck lighter than your face, you wanna press on that color along your jawline, okay? That's gonna tone down the warmth here. It's gonna lighten it, and it's gonna bring in those lighter tones in your neck so you stay matching. It's totally key. Okay, now is when I perfect, okay? I've been wearing this makeup a really, really, really long time. So I know exactly how much is too much on my face. And so I only perfect once at the end. Now I still perfect my entire face, but I really concentrate where I'm doing it, which is where I layered that brightener. Because if you would look up really close, you would be able to see. And it looks like makeup. And I don't want it to look like makeup. Now, if you like that, you don't have to perfect, but I find you might get creasing or feel sticky or tacky, and we don't want that, okay? So I'm just gonna pounce. I'm gonna keep rotating my perfector. Okay, I'm gonna pay special attention to under my eyes and anywhere I crease. So my smile lines and my problem area is right here by my nose, okay? So if you have to tap anything out, I feel like I'm not used to using a brush right there. I feel like I have a little bit too much right there. Okay, once I feel like I've pounced my entire face, okay, and it looks like skin and I'm happy with it, then I'm done. And now we can move on to some of the fun parts. Okay, let's do lip and cheek. I pretty much put all of my favorite, this is my illuminator, so don't look at that yet. I did all of my favorite fall lip and cheeks in here. I just put them all in here. So I wanted to show you guys all my faves. Okay, I'm gonna start with probably my first warmish shade I ever started with, still probably my ride or die if I had to pick one, and that would be Nude, okay? So I feel like this is a warm-based neutral, okay? I mean, it doesn't look super warm on until you compare it to, I feel like its older sister, oldest, more fallish. I don't know why I consider this a more fall color, and that's Plum, okay? Plum is darker and cooler. I don't know if you can tell from that. It's funny that on the camera, it makes Plum almost look more, no, see, in person, yeah, it totally looks cooler. I don't know, cameras, I swear. Okay, so those are two mattes, ride or dies. Like, you need at least one of these in your collection, promise. Okay, and then we'll stick with mattes and we're gonna go to, so I consider this neutral, really. It does have a touch of warmth. Plum, it's more cool. And then we're gonna go on the opposite end, we're gonna go warm. And this is a matte and this is Sandstone, okay? So I find this to be probably the most wearable red for most people. If you want to like dip your toe into the waters of reds, but they scare you, oh my gosh, get Sandstone. It's like the prettiest warm brick colored red. It's so pretty, okay? And let's just stick with the red theme. Okay, now we're gonna go into a more pink red. Pink reds I feel like are pretty wearable, not as scary. Now this is in my opinion, this is our most pigmented lip and cheek we've ever had. Like, it will straight up stain your finger. This is Saffron. Okay, now look at that. Where's the wipes? Like, wiping it off, it's still there. Okay, it's very pigmented. Obviously it can be sheared out. You can wear it like pretty lightly, but just be warned, she's pigmented. Like, if you like the look of a lip stain, you could put very little on your lips and be good to go, because that sucker's gonna stay there. Okay, and then we have Scarlet. Now this is more of a red. This is like more of an orange undertone. So this is more pink undertone. This is more orange undertone red, like fire engine red. Okay, now let's do, we'll stick with more of a red. Okay, we're gonna hit glossies now. So this is Royal. She's one of our newer reds. I consider this like a wine red. Now, if you look at this, it's very sheer, okay? But you can build it up for more pigmentation. But, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. She's becoming my favorite this season. I've been wearing her a lot. So that is Royal. And then we're gonna go into Love Spell. You guys, when I found out this was limited edition, I almost cried, because it is one of my favorite shades. I wear it year round, all the time. It's got a little bit of shimmer in it. It's made from Desert Sunset and Gilded eyeshadow. So if you love that eyeshadow, you will love this. And it looks very bronzy when you build it up, but sheared out, it is more like just very neutral to me. I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference, but it's so good. Okay, and then Black Cherry. So this is, for reference, Royal, Love Spell, Black Cherry. And Black Cherry was my first love affair lip and cheek color with mascara. And I was so hooked to this color, wearing it every single day when I first tried it. It will always be a favorite. It looks black and scary in the 10. It is a purple undertoned red. Okay, very berry, if you like berry color. It is amazing over Plum, or anything for that matter. This is a great shade to have in your collection to layer over things. If you ever want to cool it down, okay, add a little bit of this over it and it will cool it. It's such a good color. Gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, so what should we do? What should we do? That is the question. Okay, so I saw somebody mix these two colors and I had to try it. So I'm gonna really stain myself really good, I'm sure, here in a second. So I'm going to get a generous amount of saffron. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand. Oh my gosh, you guys, my finger. I told you guys, it's super pigmented. Okay, then Plum. Okay, so Saffron, Plum. Saffron's the pink red. Plum is, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Plum is straight up plum. If you like mauve, that is so pretty. And you can kind of mix and match as much as you want. Oh my gosh, I love that color. That is totally fall. Okay, so I could probably just like dot it. You guys never see me do this method because I usually don't, but yeah, I had so much on my fingers. Let's see. I probably got more saffron than actual plum there. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a bit much. I told you guys these are so pigmented. Okay, this is why I don't do the dot method. It's so much harder to blend, I find, especially if you have hyperpigmentation like me. So, okay, that side's not as bad. This side needs help. Don't fret, they're creams. We're just gonna remove some of that excess. That's why the perfector is key to have in your arsenal. It is the only thing that will actually remove anything, okay? Now, if you get too crazy like I did and get too close, like I didn't even use any of that. I'm gonna pick up my Buffy and I'm gonna go back into my main shade here. And I'm just going to magic erase that right there. Okay, 1 to 2 finger widths away. And kind of blend it out. Okay, I don't feel like I'm even. Okay, back to lip and cheek. So I normally pounce, you can just pounce into each one. I kind of wanted to mix it and show you guys what it looks like mixed first. So pick up a little bit more. Okay, so apples of the cheeks, right to the outside, right there. Gosh, I need to keep wiping off my brush. I just keep getting so much. Okay, on up along the contour and apples of the cheeks. Okay, I like that. Okay. This is cleaning up edges here. Okay, but if you guys don't know, our lip and cheeks will die down after about 5 minutes. So if you think this is like too clownish, give it a minute. I'm going to be patient. I'm gonna see what it looks like after about 5 minutes, and then we can add or take away as needed. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for my lips. So we'll get there. Okay. Should we do lips next? I feel like I always do eyes and then lips last. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do eyes. I did not, oh gosh, I had never powdered, guys. Okay, we're gonna inspect under the eyes, make sure I haven't gotten any creasing with all that talking. I'm gonna powder real quick before I forget. So vanilla dust, power powder brush, just gonna barely touch it. Go right under the eye. That little triangle, and repeat. Okay, if you get a little shiny anywhere, and I like to do it over my eyelids as well, so I get a nice base for eyeshadows. Now, if you crease, make sure you go down anywhere you crease. Key. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyebrows real quick, so that my eye makeup won't look so cray-cray. Got my brows done first. So I'm gonna add Trust with my angled brush. Okay, so much better. Still a little much. It's okay. I'm gonna be patient. Okay. Maybe once I get my eye makeup on, it'll be okay. Let's do eyes. Okay. So my girl Sarah on my team totally did an eye look. It might be the same colors or similar colors, and totally inspired. I'm stealing her color combination because it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, several of my favorite shades, and I loved it. So let's do this. We're gonna use Sabrina Ride or Die highlight shade, Lullaby, which is one of my very favorites. So when I think of fall, I think either of the plum tones or like the warm tones, right? So I love that this kind of has both. It's got the coolness of the plum from Lullaby, and then it's got this warmth from the ginger, which I feel like scares people, but is no joke one of my favorite colors on my eyes that I ever use. And then Cocoa, which again has, no, this isn't Cocoa, this is Philly. This one's Philly, which I love for warmth. Philly and Cocoa are very similar, so if you have either, this will totally work in the same way. For comparison, you can tell Trust is what I use on my brows. This is Philly, and then this is Kohl, what I'm gonna use for liner. So, okay, let's get into it. So first I'm gonna use Eyeshadow Everything brush and Lullaby in my crease and right above my hood to just frame out the eyes. Okay, so Lullaby up and above my crease. And I was gonna say, one of the reasons why I do my brows first, so if you have trouble kind of knowing where to start and stop your eyeshadow, draw on your eyebrows first and go out to from the corner of your eye to the tail of your brow. And that is like your kind of guideline, okay? So if you haven't completely done your brows and say you have a short brow or something, that could help you. You might be going too far up and you're not getting that full lengthening effect from your shadow. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing and I'm just gonna use a little bit of that under my eyes to halo and connect right there on the outer corner. Okay, and then I was also blending with a clean brush, or get you a shadow switcher on Amazon so you can kind of remove that excess product from your brush. Okay, let's go with, I'm gonna get my clean brush and I'm gonna do Sabrina. So Sabrina is probably like, when people ask me for eyeshadow suggestions, I'm like, Sabrina is a ride or die. You gotta have Sabrina. It is like the best highlight for virtually anyone. Okay, and I'm just gonna use the eyeshadow everything brush and put this from the inner corner and then just kind of on the lid and in that first third of my eye. Okay, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna use the small end to really brighten tear duct and under the brow. Super, super simple. So we got our mid-tone matte, we got our highlight shade, if I can blend correctly. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up a new brush because when it comes to my outer corner, this brush was a game changer. So I'm gonna use the Blend and Tap, the dome side, and I'm gonna go into Philly and load that brush up. And I'm just going to go to the outer corner, okay, and just start pressing. And I'm just gonna press in this outer V. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip the brush over and just kind of blur out that edge ever so slightly. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of that on that outer corner. See how much depth and dimension that added? And like barely used any. Not super heavy, just barely used any. Okay, other side. There we go, we're almost done. This is my favorite part because this is what adds the pop and the warmth. Don't be scared of Ginger, guys. I know she straight up looks, I don't even know, what would you call that? Orange, copper. She's one of the prettiest shades ever. Especially if you have gold in your eyes, it'll really make it pop. So I'm just gonna use my finger, get a little bit on there, and I'm just gonna tap it right in the center of my lid. Okay, that's it. Now that's a great way to add pigmentation really fast. Something about our fingers, they work so well. Okay, now you might have kind of some harsh lines, so I like to usually grab that clean brush again and blend edges and then see if I need to add more so that they're even. So I feel like I have more here than here, so I'm gonna add a little bit more right there. And then blend. With any good eye look comes eyeliner. I've been asked a lot about eyeliner lately, and I have to be honest, I've been mainly just using our Black Friday all the time, but I'm gonna show you how you can use a shadow and our brush to kind of do more of a winged look. And don't be scared of this brush. It's actually quite easy to draw along your lash line with this. So once you start using an angled brush, it's a game changer. So all you gotta do, I'm gonna use Kohl, okay, which is like a very dark charcoal. And I'm literally gonna use the smallest amount of Stay Spray. I'm actually gonna just spray in the cap. Oh my gosh, I totally just missed almost. Sprayed myself instead. But I'm just gonna barely dampen the brush, and I'm gonna use a corner because I don't want the whole thing to get too damp. I'm just gonna use a corner, and I'm gonna kind of make a paste with that Stay Spray. Okay, this is gonna help with longevity, and it's gonna dry down powder, but it's going to go on more like a liquid. Not a liquid, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show this. Close my eye, go all the way in, and I'm just gonna kind of draw short strokes along my lash line. Okay, almost like stamping with this brush to kind of just distribute that color. And if it starts getting dry, you can pick up some more. Okay, so I went along the lash line. I don't know if you can tell how much defined I got. Now to actually wing it, I don't do a big wing. I literally will just kind of, okay, so what the key to a wing is, you want to open your eye and see where your lower lash line, the direction it's going, okay? So you got to open your eye to see that, and you want to follow that same path that your lash line is going up. Then you close and you draw it right there. I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna look at it. That's okay. Right there. Add that little flick. My brush is drying out. Okay, and then I'm gonna fill it in. So flick, and then draw that over and just connect. So it's not much, it's not a huge wing. Okay, but with the powder, I feel like that's the best method to kind of give you a little bit of flick, which is going to kind of give you more of that lift to your eye, right? So I feel like you can maybe tell. Can you tell the difference between done and not done? If an angled brush is terrifying to you, use the small end of the multitasker. So the big end I really like for smudging. This small end is more precise. It works really well for along that lower lash line, or for that outer corner, or just smudging anything. So you can start with Black Friday, kind of smudge that in, or a shadow. I love just smudging on the shadows because they're more foolproof. Okay, so now we repeat. Sometimes I cannot get in past these lashes. Don't do what I do, because that's not good for your eyelids if you have aging eyelids like I do. Okay, if it's too wet and it is too defined of a line, just give it a second, it'll kind of evaporate, and then use this brush to kind of smudge it out. So there you go. Got a little bit of definition along my lash line with eyeshadow. Now I like my blush. What do you guys think? I told you it will die down. And if it hadn't have died down, I could easily add a little bit of a powder over it. You guys know I like a dewy look to my cheeks, and I feel like I still have a good amount of shine, but I'm gonna add just a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't have any excess on my brush, and I'm gonna add just a touch of black cherry. Just for that glow. Okay, much better. And then let's illuminate. So I'm gonna use Angel. It's one of my absolute favorites for any skin tone. Totally see that. Okay, now it's time for lips. So if you don't know, I am a big fan of using contours for lining my lips. So I'm gonna use Indigo today. And the Multitasker brush, of course. Either end works. You guys know me, I'm all about efficient, and this end's a little bit faster. Okay, I'm gonna use the same brush, and I'm gonna try to get this color on. I really hope I'll be able to get this off of my hand. That is such a pretty berry. I feel like berry tones. Saffron and plum. I guarantee you this is gonna be very like a stain because those are so pigmented. Now, if you kind of like get out of the edges, just go back in with a little bit of contour. There's no rule saying you can't contour after, or you can't line your lips after. Okay, now, you guys know me in mattes. So I'm gonna add black cherry again. Like, I feel like this lip color is like a matte pigmented version. Right? It's like the same tone. No wonder I like it so much. So, black cherry's more sheer. Don't be scared of her. If you want a pigmented version, mix those two babies up. So, there we go. Are we done? No, we gotta set this baby in place. So, Stay Spray, very last, will give you more of a dewy finish. If you don't like that, powder last, and then you'll be golden. Okay, quick tip with the Stay Spray. I know some people got some bottles were a little wonky. Okay, make sure, first of all, you shake really well first, and you don't just half spray. Okay, you get more bigger droplets when you do that. You gotta really commit to it. You gotta really, and then it's like a mist, right? So fully press plunger all the way down, and it'll be more mist-like. Okay, hopefully that helps. Okay, I knew I forgot something. I added some bottom mascara to my lashes, and now I feel more complete. Okay, so what do you think? Are you guys ready for fall? Ready for fall. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this Get Ready With Me. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, be sure drop them in the comments below. If you need your own color match for this makeup, my color match questionnaire is in the comments below as well. I'd be happy to help you out. And thanks as always. Love you guys.